Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth are among the most common daily practices of the modern American. We are consumed by these practices as much as we are our own dramas. We equate it to a passing habit that we will correct tomorrow, and yet tomorrow never arrives, always daring you to put off what you should have done today. We're killing ourselves with our choices. Though antiquated and somewhat corporal in nature, the 7 deadly sins are alive and well in your own bedrooms, bathrooms, and kitchens. Social media is the subtle emotional death of us all, as people stop liking our posts and our comments. We've filled ourselves with these false senses of pride over what we ate, or who liked this, or how many times this was shared. I find myself struggling with it in music on a daily basis. I love my music. I can't help it. The artwork that I've created in my lifetime is the culmination of all of the pain and lust and love and lore that has painted my character for the last 4 decades. I'm proud. It is difficult to restrain the excitement and pride I feel for my own works because the energy vibrates in my bones. Recently, I read an article by one of the scientists that participates in the Human Genome Project, and they theorized that our very DNA is coated with music and frequencies that mimic songs. Literally, we're our own soundtrack. I remember that so many other incredible people have this same challenge of self-pride. In my impetuous youth, I would run over people with my words and beat my head against invisible walls I could never understand. It was as if I was speaking a different language than other children. A little sponge of information and ideas that didn't allow for teamwork and could only see my perspective. I was what I like to call blinded by my own giftedness. My pride had cost me relationships, close friends, jobs, and the very intimacy that binds us together as a biological organism. And yet this pride is not isolated to me. I see it in almost everyone in this confounded country. It is bred into corporations and executives as if it were a trait to be coveted. Being proud of your accomplishments is in itself not negative. However, the line is thin and not far from the start. Ego is only a few Atta Boys away from ruining a colleague relationship. This emotion is by far the one that's hardest to keep in check because it leads to frustration, anger, and resentment. In addition, our default setting as a human is to be right. Learning to analyze ourselves in the moment, it's a difficult skill that few master even over a lifetime. Slowing down and understanding that multiple perspectives make up our reality is the key to combating ego. That selfish little feeling that gives us a greater sense of importance than we have any right to have, ever, in any moment. Most of my natural strengths were passed on to me from my parents. And with that comes the most important practice to help avoid false pride: gratitude. I attempt to find gratitude for each experience and each person, positive or negative. Even the truly nasty ones, they provide me with a sense of gratitude, if for nothing other than my own positivity. Thank you is a lost phrase. We've replaced it with expectation, and with each passing generation, it has become more and more absent from our vocabulary. But gratitude has become a mystical practice for those actively practicing the latest process from a self-help guru. Make lists of things that you're grateful for. But rather than a list of things I'm grateful for, I've modified this to include only people, the lifeblood of any community. I challenge each of you to begin each morning with a list of the people you are grateful for, regardless of whether you have chosen a new path or you're wallowing in your victimhood. This solitary activity will slowly break your chains of selfish focus towards a fuller awareness of the world around you. It will certainly challenge your pride.